Okay, so welcome everyone to the general meeting for September. I am your moderator for the day. So we have some rules for our virtual meetings. This meeting is being recorded, and it will be put up on YouTube. So if you staying in, you're agreeing to be recorded. Thank you all. If you have a question, use the raise hand feature or type an asterisk into the chat if you want to speak. The stacker for this meeting, it says it's Joe Boyle, but he had an incident with his car, so he will be late. So until he arrives, I believe it's Chris, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Chris will be paying attention and let me know if somebody has a question. Timekeeper is also Joe. I'm pretty good at keeping the time, so between Chris and I, we will pay attention to that. And then if you need to take a break from sharing, use stop video and then hit start video when you're ready to return. We want to see all of your lovely faces except Ron's because he doesn't have a camera to share. And we ask you to step up and step back, which basically means if there is, we'd like to hear from you. But if you're speaking a lot, maybe give somebody else a chance. So, and please speak slowly. All right. Next, here is our brief agenda. We're going to do our agenda. We're going to do brief introductions so that we can get through everybody. And then we'll do a quick introduction of who Solidarity Lowell is, any news and committee updates. Allied organizations, we'd like to hear from you what's going on. And then at about 6:05, Aaron will talk about Fair Share Amendment, which is question 4 on the ballot. And then a little later, we'll have Delita Roca, who is with the Yes on 4 for Safer Roads. And then we will wrap up a little bit before 7 and find out what's going to happen next month. So thank you all. And we'll go for introductions. We ask for your name, what your pronouns are, where you live, and do you decorate for Halloween? So my name is Lisa. My pronouns are she, her. I live in downtown Lowell and I live in a condo, so I do not decorate for Halloween. I'm going to call on Chris.
Hello, my name is Chris. I also live in downtown Lowell, also in a condo. I used to decorate like crazy for Halloween when I still had a house in Chelmsford. Now it's all in a box, which I just saw downstairs, and I'm wondering who to give it to. Obviously not to Lisa.
Thank you, Chris. Dee?
Hi, Dee Halzak. I live in the acre of she, her, and I do not decorate for Halloween because I live in an apartment building.
All right, how about Amy?
Hey, Amy Baranowski, pronouns are she, her. I live downtown Acre Border, the new 4-3 district, if you know where that is. So I too live in a condo, so I can't decorate the outside, but I'm a huge Halloween person, as anybody that knows me knows, and it is in fact my anniversary also. That's how big of a Halloween person I am. So we decorate the inside for sure.
All right. Next on our list is Kevin.
Hello, this is Kevin McCarthy. I'm on the South Shore. I'm further away than most of you. Been active on the Fair Share Amendment, so I wanted to see what's going on around the state. Then when I got this, email, so I was interested in that. He, him, and I decorate for put a pumpkin out for Halloween. I like my wife and I give out the candy and stuff. It's one of my favorite holidays. Thank you.
All right, Lori.
Hi, I'm Lori Groves, and I live in Chelmsford in a condo building. So we too cannot decorate the outside. Not sure about the inside. This is only our second Halloween here. So we'll have to get back to you on that one. But anyway, I'm from First Parish in Bedford, and I was informed of this meeting by I guess, one of your members who's in Bedford, because First Parish in Bedford is in Bedford. My husband is here. He's Dean Groves. Needless to say, he also lives in Chelmsford.
All right, thank you. Dodie.
Hi, I'm Dodie. She, her, she, they. I live in Middleborough, which is the furthest from Lowell so far. And I do have a little house, but I don't decorate much for Halloween. I feel kind of guilty with all of you Halloween fans. It's not my favorite holiday, but I do put pumpkins out.
Okay, John.
John Grossman, he, him. I live in Lowell in Pawtuckaville. I don't have a good excuse, but I don't decorate. We don't decorate much for Halloween anymore.
Okay, Paul.
Paul Gaudette from the Highlands in Lowell, he, him, and representing the Merrimack Valley Project. I'm the one that stays home and hands out the candy while my wife Claudia goes trick-or-treating with the grandchildren. So we have a plastic pumpkin now because the real life pumpkins always got attacked by squirrels and started to rot. So it wasn't worth it. That's all we do.
Okay, Wynn.
Hi, Wynn Flint. I live in Lowell, pronouns she, her. In the past, we decorated, we weren't super fancy though. Now I have some small things in the house, some Halloween things. And like Paul, I'm the one that gives out the candy, and I have the big plastic bowl. And I like seeing all the kids in their costumes. It's good because I get sort of a sense of what's popular, what's going on in the movies. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what was going on in the movies.
Excellent. Aaron.
My name, everyone, I'm Aaron, he, him pronouns. I live in Somerville, Mass, and I don't really decorate for Halloween, but definitely love to get festive.
All right. Marissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marissa DuPont, she, her pronouns. I live in South Lowell now in the Sacred Heart neighborhood. And I am so excited because we just bought our first house, and we are going to decorate everything for Halloween. I just bought my Halloween costume for the year. I don't know if I'm going to do trick or treat night. I am tempted because the Potwins told me of an amazing idea where they make the kids vote for their favorite Halloween candy to teach them about voting and civics and stuff. So I was tempted to do that, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we're going to decorate. We're excited.
Okay. Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I think I just figured this thing out. Oh, I just clicked on something. All right. I'm in South Lowell, she, her. I stick a Happy Halloween sign out on my townhouse condo little square area for Halloween, and that's about it.
Okay. You must have been the phone number, because the phone number
Yep,
disappeared.
I finally figured out how to attach it. Yep,
Okay.
It was a miracle, and that's as good as it's going to get for this month.
All right, excellent. So I think the only person we have left then is Ron.
Hi, I'm Ron. My pronouns are he, him. I live about a block and a half away from Wynn, in fact. And my roommate and I both work outrageous hours, so we very carefully don't decorate for Halloween, because this is a neighborhood with a lot of kids in it. We do not want people to accidentally think that we're going to be available to feed out trick-or-treating.
Okay. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think I caught everybody. Thank you all for coming. I'm really excited about our topic for today. So who is Solidarity Lowell? We are a volunteer-based group of community members in Greater Lowell working towards social justice by defending human rights, dignity, and equality of all persons against hate and discrimination. We always welcome new members. So thank you, new people, for popping in. We're glad to have you. The Solidarity Lowell Coordinating Committee is your elected team of volunteers running the meetings, organizing events, disseminating relevant news, and sharing calls to action. Please contact us, any of us after the meeting, if you are interested in learning more. I'd love to say if you are a coordinating committee member, click the little raise hand button now so everybody can see you. I say that I can't raise my hand, but I'm one of them.
If you're a co-host, you can't raise your
Oh,
hand. I
all
don't
right.
think.
So we can't raise our hands because we're all co-hosts. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait, no, I can. I lied.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, I don't think Chris or I can. Oh, well, anyway, here we are.
Yes.
All right.
Raise the real hand.
Yes. All right. Solidarity Lowell is a chapter. Oops, I keep going up. All right. We are a chapter of Progressive Massachusetts. Progressive Mass is a statewide member-driven grassroots organization committed to fighting, I can't see this, for a vision of shared prosperity, racial and social justice, good government, and environmental sustainability. You can visit progressivemass.com or contact us to learn more. And they are currently working to support the 2 ballot initiatives that we are presenting on today. So it's a big effort that they're doing. So we like to point out some good news, a little sun shining through the clouds. The Supreme Court rejected a legal challenge and cleared the way for the Fair Share Amendment on November ballot. So we're very happy about that. And on September 14th, the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, lowering prescription drug costs, investing in new technologies to combat climate change, and raising taxes on billion-dollar corporations. I got that from Heather Cox Richardson. She definitely is a bright and shining light in our day. Does anyone else have anything positive they'd like to share? But Paul, I see Paul's hand.
We've had some of our members of Merrimack Valley Project out tabling these past 2 weeks in Haverhill and Lawrence and handing out literature. We were out at the Bread and Roses Festival on Labor Day as well. So we've been pushing both question 1 and 4.
Excellent. All right. So we always want to hear about good news. So
Okay, let me jump in with one more little thing. Even though we're technically the 2 progressive candidates we were supporting for state rep technically didn't win, but since they were both newcomers running against long-term established incumbents and they came awfully close within just a very few votes, I'm counting that as a win.
Yep, they both did really good. It's true. All right, thank you. All right, let us move on. So speaking of, Dee, you want to talk about the elections committee?
Well, yeah, and Chris stole part of my thunder.
He did.
So to add to Chris's news, Tara came within 68 votes of beating an incumbent as a first-time candidate, beating an incumbent in the primary. And Zoe came within 102 or 3 votes, I think, of beating an incumbent in the primary. So for first-time candidates, they did very well, and we're proud of them. One of our progressive candidates is moving on to the finals, and that is Teresa English. And we will be organizing canvassing for her. And we encourage our members to join the canvassing because we need to get the vote out. And one of the things that contributed to our candidates coming so close but not going over the edge was the low turnout in Lowell, and we need to get votes out in order to get progressive candidates to win. So we urge you all to watch for news about canvassing events, and please join us if you can. The other piece of election news is that there are a lot of elections across the country that are very close, and organizations that are working to push the votes blue, because a vote for Democrats is a vote for democracy this year. And there are too many candidates running, particularly for Secretary of State, who want control of the election so they can convert them to what they want them to be instead of what actually happens. And so it's important, if you have the time, to work with some of these organizations to get candidates elected who will not subvert elections. Look for Swing Blue Alliance, Turn Pennsylvania Blue, and any of the other organizations that are trying to get Democrats elected in the other states. Thank you.
All right. I think I saw Ron's hand go up.
I was a precinct warden during the primaries, and to put a little bit more color on what Dee said, less than 1 registered voter and 7 voted. So we've got our work cut out for us.
Yep. All right. All right. The Merrimack Valley Interfaith Sanctuary Network. Marissa?
Yep. Hi, everyone. So I am the volunteer coordinator for Solidarity Lowell for the Merrimack Valley Interfaith Sanctuary Network, which was started as a group working to help people seeking sanctuary here in New England. Oh, and Nikita apparently wants to say hi. Hold on a sec. So we have been supporting, initially we couldn't find actual people looking for sanctuary, so we opened it up to asylum seekers and found Marius, who is an asylum seeker from Togo. So he's been here for about, I think 3 or 4 years now, because it's taken so long because of the pandemic. I mean, the immigration system works insanely slowly anyway, but because of the pandemic, it's been even slower. So he finally has gotten his work permit. Those of you who have been following along since the beginning know that he's had multiple things that have stalled him along the way, one of which being his truck catching on fire. He got another truck. He has gotten that fixed up. He got it registered, and he is back working. But now he needs money for gas. That is the big thing. So I think we're hoping that this will be one of the final asks that we give you for him. But if you can donate, there's a GoFundMe that's on the screen. Please donate through that. And if you have any other questions or whatever, just feel free to email me at marissa@solidaritylowell.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we also have Unpacking Whiteness. Wynn, do you want to talk about this?
Oh, I wasn't, am I supposed to be starting a session soon?
Oh, okay, nope. This may be left over from the last time.
I think so.
Okay, all right. So we do we do have sessions. If you're interested, let us know. And when we have enough interest, maybe we'll look at starting another one up.
I will say a little blurb here. I've taught, it was me who's teaching these things, and I've taught it nationally now, and my audience is usually old liberals who kind of feel compelled to take this, but they kind of know it already, and they just come in and they got all together in a bag of chips. And it turns out that they don't, and it's just white people, so we can all be real frank. We have folks coming in from la-di-da schools, Harvard, Columbia, all these places, MIT, and they walk away learning a lot more history that they knew that they didn't know. So it's really good. It's really good for progressives. So if down the road you think you want to join up to this, it's really good. Okay, enough commercial.
Thank you. We're sorry to put you on the spot there, but there we go. Let us know. All right. Do we have any group updates and announcements?
Yeah, I put in the chat that Merrimack Valley Project's having its MICA Awards a little later this year, November 12th, which is a Saturday evening at 6 o'clock on Zoom. We raise up people from across the Merrimack Valley who have donated time to the community, to various causes, and helping lift up the community that they live in. So I want to just take this moment to thank Solidarity Lowell for placing an ad in last year's program, and I hope that they will do it again.
On that note, I was trying to figure out where to add this, and this is a great place. Solidarity Lowell has nominated one of our coordinating committee members as a micro recipient this year. We would like to honor Dee Halzak for her excellent stepping up every time we need something written. Every time somebody suggests that, oh, there should be a letter to the editor about that, she has it written before our meeting is over half the time. If we need wording for anything, she's the person we turn to. And so we just feel like she has this excellent way of putting things into words. She also is responsible for our rapid response team emails that go out every single week that tell you what's going on and what you can do about it and how you can get active. And so she's been doing that for a couple of years and has been doing a great job. And we really want to recognize all the time that she's put in. So thank you, Dee. John has his hand raised.
Yeah, John Grossman, I volunteer with 350 Mass of Greater Lowell Climate Justice Group. And as Lisa described, the climate movement had something of a victory when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed. But along with that victory, there was some serious problems. In order to get it passed, they had to make a deal with Joe Manchin and his people to open up a lot of opportunities for new drilling of fossil fuels and approval of new pipelines, even pipelines that have been running into problems with regulations. They made this deal that there would be a bill that would be brought to a vote by the Senate to make it easier to approve stuff like that. And so the movement is trying to fight that bill. Sometimes that's referred to as permitting reform because they're making it easier for nasty projects to get permitted, or their permits, I should say. And I'll put in the chat an action you can take to try to stop that from getting through.
Thanks, John. Anything else?
And I know the Lowell Sustainability Council is having an event soon. I don't know if you want to mention it when, because you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, I think maybe we might have a slide. I'm not sure. I sent a slide of a invite.
Oh, did we forget to add that? We might have forgotten to add that.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem. I'm with the Lowell Sustainability Council, and it's an official city committee, and we advise the city council on all things related to the environment and climate change, which is insane when you think about it, because we're like part-time volunteers. It doesn't really make sense, but anyway, that's what they have at the moment. So anyway, we have been wicked busy, and we're going to have a big summit talking about everything we've been doing, and it's a way to network with other climate change people, and it's going to be October 15th, Saturday, 10:30, 10 to 1, and we'll have lunch there. But one of the cool things that it's going to be at LTC. But one of the cool things that we're going to have is we're going to have what they call an En-ROADS simulation. And what it is, it's something that MIT and UMass Lowell developed. And it's a way, together with people, to figure out what are really the best steps going forward. Because we've heard people will give us, there's 20 different options, like carbon tax or energy efficiency or getting nuclear online or whatever. Anyway, it's on one hand, it's detailed simulation, but on the other hand, it's real intuitive, and it's great to do it with other people, and it's very enlightening. I thought it was kind of fun, but I guess I'm kind of a nerd. Anyway, I'm going to put my email in the chat to see if you want to come. Send me an email. I'll give you more info.
All right, thank you. I want to recognize Zoe. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for coming. We were just talking about you during the elections committee. Congratulations on an excellent first run at your state rep candidacy, and we hope that you run again.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was trying to find the link, but yeah, thank you.
All right. Dee, you had your hand up?
I just wanted Wynn to send me an email with information on the event so that I can get it into the newsletter.
Okay, great.
And the deadline is tomorrow, so
Okay.
thank you.
Can I send it tomorrow morning?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Did I see another hand go up? Oops. All right. I think on that note then, how are we doing on time? If everybody's done, that means we're early. Yay. All right. And I know Aaron is here and ready to go. So Aaron Sora is with the Merrimack Valley Regional, he's the Merrimack Valley Regional BIPOC organizer for the Fair Share Amendment for Massachusetts. It is question 1 on the ballot, and we love to hear more about what we can all do to help get this thing passed. So take it away. It's all yours.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for having me in your meeting. Really appreciate it. For everyone who might not know, I'll say a little bit about the Fair Share Amendment. So the Fair Share Amendment is a millionaire's tax that you're trying to pass here in the state of Massachusetts, which will tax 4% of all of everything that an individual has made above $1 million. So starting at $1 million, whatever they have above that will be taxed at 4%. And those funds would go towards education and our transportation. So our roads, our bridges, et cetera, et cetera. And that has the potential to generate about $2 billion a year that can be allocated to both of those sectors. And really trying to have it passed this year here in Massachusetts. That's question number 1. And asking for a yes vote on that. Sure, you guys have probably chatted with Joshua Alba, who is the Merrimack Valley Regional Director. I know that he has been organizing some weekly canvases in Lowell. And now that I am on board on the team, I will also be organizing, coordinating a couple of opportunities to canvass for the Fair Share in Lowell. And I will also be tabling events in the community. Me personally, as a BIPOC organizer, I'm going to be focusing on going to cultural events and events that have to do with communities of color, and really making sure that we're turning out voters who might not go out and vote as frequently or might not be tapped into. So I'm going to be doing some targeted canvassing in communities in which we might have some more BIPOC people in. And we're also going to be trying to just canvass all of them. So as events start to pop up in which we'll have tables for volunteers to help us hand out information and talk about it with the residents of Lowell. And as more canvassing opportunities are publicized, I will make sure to share them with the Lowell Solidarity team. And just want to make sure you guys know you can reach out to me with any questions.
Do people have any questions for Aaron? I guess my first question is, are there organized canvases, like specific days that we can get involved in, either for canvassing or phone banking or even texting?
There are, and those can be found on our website at fairsharema.com, and you'll be able to see when they're scheduled. And I will make sure to send over the dates for phone banking and canvassing over to either Lisa, Dee, and Chris, because I have your emails. I will make sure to send that so that it can be shared with the rest of the group via newsletter and emails.
Okay, thanks. Dodie, you had a question?
Yes, I have been asked whether if somebody sells their house, some kind of one-time event like that, that is income or not in terms of the fair share tax.
Yeah, I will have to double check on that. This is my first week with the fair share. So I haven't been asked that yet, but I could definitely find the answer out for you and make sure to get that to someone who can get it to you. I'll definitely reach out to someone in the team that will know the answer.
Thanks so much.
That is not
Definitely.
income. That would not count as income. Sorry, just answering the question because I know the answer.
Oh, hello, our second speaker. Thank you.
Great.
All right. I saw another hand. Ron, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. I'm an IRS licensed tax analyst, where the way this works is your primary residence, not a place that you're renting or a place that you're using for commercial, but your primary residence has a $250,000 exemption per person, $500,000 if you're married filing jointly. So in order for the fair share amendment to account, your capital gain on the selling of the house has to be more than $1.5 million as married filing jointly, or 1.25 million as single. Basically, unless you're making a serious chunk of change, you're not going to get hit with this.
Okay, thank you. Aaron, oh, you are clapping. Thank you. Other questions? Kevin.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. So one of the reasons why I came on this, I'm on the South Shore. And I'm a little surprised because there's a lot of activity, at least I'm seeing on the South Shore. I get emails regularly to go out and do a knock, and there's been Zoom meetings. I was invited to, in fact, there's a statewide one. There's a lot of literature. It seems like it's very, very well organized, very well funded. There's plenty of really, I assume you've seen them, pass outs that you leave with the door knocking and so forth. There's special training they're giving to teach us how to text. There's the hub dialer. I have several opportunities each week, and I've gone out several times because, I think it's an important amendment to get through and, to get a feel for where the electorate was at and so forth. And so I would call it very active, at least in the southern part of Boston that I have been, which I found encouraging. So when I got the notification for this meeting, I thought, gee, this would be, good to see what's going on. I would consider your area, to also be a prime area for a lot of votes for this. So I'm just wondering why I don't get the feeling that there is as much organization and so forth, or that you're aware of it. And I'm just curious about, I don't know if there's anybody, whether Aaron represents the state group or not, or what, but it's been going on for several weeks. So I just wanted to report that to you, but I was just wondering if there's going to be more of a push, because we're really down to the last, again, 5 or 6 weeks here. So anyways, I just wanted to make that commentary. And you could enlighten me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll be making much more of a push out in the Merrimack Valley. I joined at the beginning of this past week. So my main focus is to emphasize organizing in Lowell and Lawrence, and allowing the Merrimack Valley organizers to kind of expand to the other cities and towns. So my hope is to really create a lot of opportunities for in-person volunteering, such as canvassing and tabling events. But also we do, as you mentioned, we have the weekly hub dialers. We have weekly town hall meetings that we do to really inform folks who are not completely informed on question 1. So we do have all that still going statewide. And like I mentioned, I will make sure to send the schedule over to you guys so that you could put it in the newsletter and email it out to your members.
Thank you.
All right, John?
Yeah, just so people don't get the wrong idea, there's a lot of organizing going on around this here in the Lowell area. Most of us know about it, have been talking to people about it. I know there's been Friday canvassing going on in Lowell for a while. I think people are on it here.
Thanks. Dee, you had your hand raised? You're muted.
Sorry. I wanted to know if the town halls are to be promoted publicly. So if you send me information, should I put the link in our newsletter to invite people to attend?
Yes, we will, when I send it, you are free to share that with the folks.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right.
Paul, do you have a question? I
yeah.
see your hand up.
To John's point, there's even organizing going on at UMass. Professor Tom Pinheiro Shields had his sociology students do a canvas with Merrimack Valley Project. The 35 students went out, gave them each a packet. Of course, it was at 10 o'clock in the morning on a weekday, but they got out there and learned how to do canvassing and came back and told stories of the 2 or 3 people that they engaged with. So we may have some budding activists going through from there.
Right. Okay, well, if there are no more, I don't see any more questions. So if there are no more questions, we can turn it over and introduce our next speaker. Thank you very much, Erin, for popping in. And I hope that we can count on everybody not only to vote yes on the Fair Share Amendment, to also get out there and make phone calls and tell every single person that you know about this, ask every person if they're familiar with it, and make sure that they're also going to vote yes. This has been a long haul, and we are on the last step of making this a reality. So we need everybody's help to get the word out. So on that,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. On that note, we're going to go back to sharing. Let's see. So the next ballot initiative, this one, if you look at your the voter guide that went out, this came in afterwards. So we definitely need to get the word out about this one. And Delita, I saw you pop in. Thank you for showing up. And we'd love to hear from our field director on Yes on 4 for Safer Roads as to what's going on with that campaign and how we can help. So it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And as you mentioned, my name is Dalida. I am the field director for the Yes on 4. And yes, the Yes on 4 is not on the red book. That's because the signatures were qualified after it was printed. So signatures were not qualified until September 9th, which is when the campaign had to pivot to a ballot campaign. That is why we don't have, we're not as organized as, for example, Fair Share, or doesn't have as many resources because it's only been like 2.5 weeks that we shifted to a ballot question. History on the legislative fight and then the ballot question. So Yes on 4 is to uphold the law, which was passed June 2022. And it's the bill to allow undocumented immigrants to have access to a driver's license. And Massachusetts became the 17th state to pass this legislation. And we're at risk of potentially becoming the first state to repeal this legislation. It's been a long fight. Immigrant advocates have been fighting for this for over 20 years. In 2019, when I was the political director for SEIU 32BJ, this was the first bill I filed as the political director. I am originally from Cape Verde, formerly undocumented, someone who still have undocumented family members. So this is extremely important to me, which is one of the reasons why I was extremely, happy that the organization SCIE 32BJ was willing to put resources behind such legislation, along with Brazilian Workers Center, who are also thinking about filing this bill. So we collaborated, we convened the coalition, and after a long fight, we were able to pass it this June. And then after the legislation was passed, opposition started gathering signatures the end of June. And they really relied on conservative radio talk shows. They really went into purple districts and districts that are sort of Republican, I guess, described, such as Bridgewater, for example. And they were collecting signatures outside dumpsters. They were really spreading false information. And they were able to collect about 90-something thousand signatures, and 72,000 of those signatures were certified this September. So the question is really to uphold the law, and that is why is a yes on question 1, because we already have this bill in Massachusetts. And this is something that for the first time, law enforcement, major labor unions, immigrant groups, just really a full breadth of support. And that is why the coalition was so successful, and it was able to pass this bill. And we have 42 police chiefs that is a part of the major city chiefs police association that are standing behind this bill and behind the question 4, right? And as we're going out to reach voters, it's really, really important to make sure that we are emphasizing that we have the support of law enforcement, and to really stick to just road safety, because that is the message after polling, that is the message that is resonating with voters. If election was to happen today, we don't know which way it would go. It would be a 50-50. That's what polling is suggesting. And that is before they hear the message that law enforcement is supporting this ballot question. And that is before they hear that this is about keeping all of us safe on the road, because that means that undocumented immigrants will need to pass the test, know the rules of the road, get their license, get insurance before they get on the road. And that will ensure that all of us who are on the road are safe. And also the neighboring states who have passed this legislation way before us really experience a significant decrease in hit and runs, because when someone is not afraid of deportation, not afraid of family separation, and have a driver's license, they can stay on scene, wait for police, exchange information, because they have the insurance and they have the driver's license. They don't need to fear family separation and deportation. And we have seen in other states a significant decrease in hit and runs, and also significant decrease in your insurance premium, because that means more of us that are insured and are on the road. Aside from this question not making it into the red book, it's also in the back of your ballot. So you have to flip your ballot to the other side, which is a tactic that Republicans, use, wait until the last minute to get the signatures certified. And also the question is on the back. It's a way of, us slowing us down, because that means we really have to be on the door informing voters with a limited amount of time, 7 weeks really, that the campaign had to convene a team and really start mobilizing and educating voters. And a ballot question campaign is a different beast than a legislative campaign. But still we have a the victory. We just need to make sure we raise enough funds, continue to push the message that law enforcement is supporting this bill. We need volunteers to get on doors to help us, because we don't have a big team. We also don't have a lot of funds to hire organizers all over the state. So we really need to plug in where people are already mobilizing, and really ask folks to join us and help us as we try to educate voters on this question. So I'm gonna stop there because I feel like I said a lot, and take questions.
Thank you very much, Dalida. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Kevin, looks like you have a question.
Thank you, Dalida. Pardon my ignorance on this, because this gets me a little confused. Those who are proposing it want the public to vote no on it. Did I get that right?
Opposition wants the public to vote no on it.
So,
but not us. Not
but
us.
they're the ones that put this on the ballot, though.
Yes, they're the one that put it on the ballot to repeal it.
On the ballot want to say a no.
Mm-hmm.
That strikes me as kind of a strange. I'm kind of glad to see that, opposing it myself. It seems a strange strategy to put a ballot question that you're promoting, and you're promoting to get a no. I would think that that hopefully would work against them, but
yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to, that it would work against them. And the question I can drop in the chat the way the question will appear on your ballot. And they want, opposition is going for no, and we're going for yes, because it's to uphold. Because the question is, do you approve the law that is already in place, right? So
Yeah.
yes would say yes, I approve the law.
Just a second quick question. Is there any strategy for the police associations or the law enforcement to be publicizing, that they want a yes on this? Is there any promotional media, being spent or organized along that line? Thank you for taking my question.
Yes, definitely. As a matter of fact, our palm card, which is what we're using to canvas, has one of the police chief on it, supporting and the yes on 4. And we dropped our first ad, which talks about law enforcement supporting it. And as we get closer to election, law enforcement folks will start coming out strong in support of yes on 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ron, you had a question? You had your hand raised?
Yeah, we've actually met before. I was in the State House when we were trying to get this going, and I testified while wearing a suit. I unfortunately was right behind that horrible sheriff.
Oh,
He was just amazingly bad. But I'm wondering, does Galvin's office have a legal responsibility to put out an addendum to the Red Book so that the voters are informed?
yeah, that I don't know. And because we were on limited time, we just didn't have the capacity to look into it. We just went straight into organizing and doing everything that we can do to win. So the campaign haven't looked into that, but I can see if that's something that
I know some immigration lawyers. Would you mind terribly if I ask them?
No.
Okay.
Don't mind at all.
I'll get in touch with Cabell Ames and a couple others.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron. Dee.
Hi, yeah. If you have a schedule for canvases and phone banks, would you please email me so I can get it in our newsletter? You can send it to contact@solidaritylowell.com.
Okay.
And
Hold on, let me write that down. So right now we're doing phone banks Thursdays 5 to 7 with every Thursday, and then we are doing canvassing, but we really trying to because we have limited amount of time, decentralized canvassing, asking different organization, town committees to host canvassing, and we'll provide everything that is needed, just because
Okay.
it's a lot of turf to cover, and I was the only person on the field until a couple of days ago, because again, we had to like shift quick. And yeah, I sort of took a break, a leave from my organization to come back and work on the campaign, but couldn't really take a leave. So I've been working here in my organization because we just had to pivot really quick.
Yeah. Okay. What? Okay.
Are there other
Um,
questions?
I'll just mention a couple things that if couple questions that keeps coming up as folks are volunteering is one, the voter fraud. That is one of the talking points of the opposition. So a lot of folks are asking how do we make sure undocumented immigrants don't register to vote? First of all, let me just put it out there. It's really hard to engage immigrants to get them to vote when they can't vote. So let's just get that out the way. But it's really important to inform voters that the Registry of Motor Vehicle already have the safeguards in place to ensure that people with lawful status, legal status, and that are non-citizens can obtain a driver's license, but not register to vote. So for example, if you are a permanent resident or a green card holder, as some folks say, a TPS recipient, a DACA recipient, you have legal status, but you are a non-citizen, right? So you can go get your driver's license, and once you're at the RMV, one of the question is, are you a citizen? So if you say no, it puts you on a different path than if you are a citizen, right? Which will then lead you to register to vote. So RMV already has that system in place. So we are not adding any extra work aside from extra people going to get driver's license, right? Which is gonna generate revenues for the state. But RMV doesn't have to do anything else because those safeguards are already in place. And aside from that, there is not only in the language of the bill, but also in something that is already in place. If you are a non-citizen and try to register to vote for any reason, it's a criminal offense. It's a federal offense. You can face incarceration and deportation. And most immigrants that are here because they are looking for a better life. They are looking, they escaping something. They're not looking to commit such crime to be deported or incarcerated. So that's one. But I saw a hand up.
Yeah, there was a question actually. Dodie, did you want to ask your question, or do you want me to ask it for you?
It actually wasn't a question. It was an answer to the question about the Red Book. I think has covered themselves because they state clearly, this was correct as of a date in July or June, I don't remember what, and that additional questions may be on the ballot and not in the book. I hope it can be fought and a new one issued, but they're they kind of covered themselves.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the campaign. So Chris.
Yes, I just wanted to double back on that, what Dalida just said about driver's license for non-citizen, because I am one of those, green card, and I just had to renew my driver's license, and I can certainly confirm that the RMV is very able to determine who you are. I had to bring ever so many pieces of documentation and the questions, everything I brought took me the longest time ever to have that done. And I was just glad I brought every single piece of paper I had pertaining to who I am. So by first-hand experience, they can do this.
Yep, they definitely have the system to do it. They've been doing it for a long time, and this is not adding any extra work. And that is one of the things that one of the talking points that opposition has been working hard against us is the voter fraud. The other piece is really this misconception that if undocumented immigrants have access to driver's license, all of a sudden they're going to have access to benefits and all these other things that folks are saying, and that is completely false. The driver's license is for the purpose of driving. Obviously, it will serve as an ID for undocumented immigrants, but it will not grant them access to any benefits that they would otherwise not have if they didn't have a driver's license, right? This is not an adjustment of status. This is not helping in any other way aside from being able to drive their children to school, to hospital, grocery, and just have a driver's license.
Thanks. Ron?
Yeah, so one of the things that there's hard statistics on is that for all of the screaming about voter fraud, the actual fraud that has been measured as taking place has been usually not voters, but electioneering by officials or people who work there. And they are universally, without exception, as far as I can find, Republicans.
Yep.
So it's sort of like when somebody brings up the voter fraud thing, we can go, well, here's the statistics, folks. Here's the folks who are committing this. Notice who they are. And of course, we've also got the hard statistics that show that immigrants as a group are much safer in terms of lower crime rates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And no immigrant is going to risk being deported to a country that they were a refugee from in order to vote in one single election. It's a ludicrous claim. It's just nuts.
True.
Thanks. John?
Hi, Dolly. Just curious if you or anybody else knows whether any of the statewide candidates for office have taken a position in favor of yes on 4.
If any of the candidates?
Yeah, if any of the statewide candidates have taken a public yes on 4 position, I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, so Attorney General Maura Healey had already supported this as a legislation and is still supportive of this, of yes on 4. She hasn't been as public. Part of the strategy, it's part of her strategy and the campaign strategy, but all of them will slowly come forward. We're trying to make roll out the different endorsements slowly. But yes, and then this is also being coordinated at the Mass Dems level. So if you go into Canvas, most likely you'll see, as of last week, the question, they were still trying to work on the question to enter it in the script, but I believe it's there now. And it will be down ballot candidates plus yes on 1 plus yes on 4.
Thanks. Paul?
Yes, I just want to point out that Chris and John and I were part of the Decline to Sign campaign over all those weeks in July. And we heard firsthand the table petitioners lying all the time about what this bill was due and why it was a bad bill and so on. And I personally had run-ins with Jim Lyons twice, and he's the head of the GOP in Massachusetts. But it's interesting, and you may want to share this when you're canvassing, is that if you have a sympathetic listener, to let them know that they really jumped on this because it's red meat for their base to turn out their base in this election.
Yeah.
So the candidates are not that attractive, but people will come out to be on record against immigrants. And
exactly.
It's red meat for them.
Yep. They're using immigrants the same way that they were sending, planes and buses full of immigrants to Martha's Vineyard.
Exactly.
Yep.
So on the national level, it's going on.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? So, Dalida, do you have slides or other brochures or anything? Are they all located at the link that you sent us? If people need more talking points?
I can most definitely send you our one pager and the digital link of our palm card and everything else that you can forward to folks. And the website has everything, canvassing locations, phone banks. I also dropped my email in the chat if anyone wants to email me directly and request anything. We have 2 regional staff members, one in Western Mass and one in North Shore, but we can make things happen in other areas.
Right. Does anyone else have any questions, any comments before we let Dalida go? All right. Thank you so much for coming to talk with us. Really appreciated it. This is definitely an important campaign. We were all so excited when the legislation passed, and we were really hoping that our efforts to keep people from signing would be effective, but they weren't. So now we know we have a difficult fight ahead of us. And anyone who can step up to help to get the word out, make sure, let your friends know that this question 4 is really important and that we want a yes vote. I think that that's what we're really asking for, and it's kind of all hands on deck between now and election day. So
yes, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. It's always nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Dalida. You know I got you, so I'm already gonna be in there.
and John, I miss the Purple family. So bye.
all right, take care. Thank you. All right, let's see what we have next on the agenda. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So next on the agenda, our next meeting. Our next meeting is going, I'm trying to find that little button. There's the little button I was looking for. All right, we have not decided on a topic. If anybody has ideas for our topic for next month, we'd love to hear them. And please send it to contact@solidaritylowell.com. One of the things we do is we send reminder texts and make calls to remind people of what's happening. And if there's anybody who could help us with reminder calls, we're taking volunteers now who can help with reminder text next month.
Or if you can't decide now, you can let me know, since I usually coordinate the reminder text.
Yep. Wynn raised her hand. Thank you, Wynn.
Wynn, okay.
Please keep me
I
on
think,
the
yeah,
list.
you're in the list already, but I'll keep you in for the time being. If anybody else who is not on the list would like to join it, the more hands we have, the faster it goes. It's real easy, since I'll send you a prepared brief text and a link to a list of phone numbers. So all you have to do is cut and paste about 10 times, and that's the end of it. So you can also contact me, either the contact@solidaritylow.com, or you can contact me directly, chris@solidaritylow.com.
Okay. All right. So we invite everyone to join us online at our Facebook page. There's public events, photos, more, but you will miss out on discussions and member-only events that are taking place if you just go to the page. There's also a Facebook group. And this one is, one's called Solidarity Lowell, the other Solidarity Lowell, a chapter of Progressive Mass. And then you can have access to all of our events. You can join us on Slack or visit our website, and we are also on Instagram and Twitter. So thank you all for attending. Any last minute comments from people? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everybody's face. So any last minute comments? All right, well, thank you all for coming. I look forward to seeing you out on the canvassing trail or in a phone bank for the fair share and safer roads. Two really important ballot measures that we want to make sure we get yes votes on. So tell all your friends, vote yes yourselves, and spread the word. All right, thank you all.